At this time, I'll call the December 14th, 2023 meeting to order for the Dickinson County Commission. Would you please stand and join in the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Ron Roller is not able to attend today, so two of us still act as a quorum and can proceed with everything on the agenda. There is one addition to the agenda, and it is in regards to a contract with Enterprise for police protection. And with that addition, I will move that we approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
We have the motion and second. Any discussion or question? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The consent agenda includes the minutes of the November 30th meeting, also expenditures of $623,908.38, a security payment of $3,392, hand checks of $118.25, abatements $7,276.76, added tax $2,524.48, escape tax of $51.06, utilities $16,263.83.
I move to approve this consent agenda.
I'll second it. We have the motion and the second for approval of the consent agenda. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, commission comments. Craig?
Yes, several of us attended the KAC annual meeting in Wichita. The Dan Muir, the chief mascot, was really an inspirational speaker. We talked about it in the work session. I think there was 580 some attendees, 120 some vendors. Just an absolute, Kim Quayle did an excellent job of putting it on, stuff like that. Wichita seems to be, I'm not going to run down Kansas City, but it just seems to be a better location for it, in my opinion. Did get a couple calls the last couple of days about township roads. Talked to Martin about the issues and stuff, and that's all I have then.
Okay. I'll kind of echo the comments that Craig mentioned on this KAC convention. It's a few days long. They do have some keynote speakers come in. And as he mentioned, the one that is the Chiefs mascot. Originally, when I saw that, I thought it might be a little bit whimsical and just, entertaining or so on, because I was sure he would have some stories to tell, which he did, but also went through some of the personal tragedy that he had and an injury that was so severe. And he's turned that around where he actually, not only inspires people to work through chronic pain and setbacks, but also has book sales and such that he goes ahead and advances that money to some charitable type groups that are helping here in the U.S., but also international. So I might mention Craig Chamberlain also serves on the KAC board. And so if you'll, certainly, I know you will, pass that information on at the headquarters. They really put the convention together where it moved along, but just lots of great information. That's all I have. We do not have any petitions or proclamations. Before we get to the public comments, we have Lisa Berg here today, and she has completed the Certified Public Managers course. And I don't want to steal your thunder, so Janelle, if you'd want to maybe go further in depth on that, what that involves. And Lisa, maybe you should be the one to tell what it involves if you'd like to come up to the podium.
I
Make this a group effort here.
just a couple brief remarks. This is a year-long intense certification, and it is something that I think is very important for our managers to go through. They learn a variety of items that they could deal with on a regular basis, daily basis, and tips and tools to be able to become better leaders, which is what we're looking for in Dickinson County. So, Lisa?
I'm going to probably just almost say exactly what you did. I had the opportunity to attend the Certified Public Manager class this past year that was held in Newton. I did pass the class and graduated as a first. There were moments I wondered. First, I want to thank you guys for the opportunity and your willingness to invest in me and other county employees. Your support is so appreciated through everything we do. A couple of things I learned is that you can teach an old dog new tricks, and public speaking will never be my strength. However, I also learned many new approaches and techniques that are valuable to be a strong leader. Communication, coaching, and using words wisely are tools that I walked away with, and I reflect upon those daily. I keep a note at my desk that has a line in the middle of it. There are words above that line and words below that I look at and I use as a reminder to think before speaking, breathe before reacting, and choose to apply those to conversations or situations. Sometimes learning conversations become difficult. However, having these resources and applying the information attained during this past year has made communicating much easier and is beneficial to all of us. Again, I appreciate your support and the opportunity to represent the county. Just know it is highly appreciated on everything you guys do, and hope to serve you guys.
Wanted to make sure we recognize Lisa for those achievements, so it's important.
Thank you.
Oh, whoa.
Lisa,
We're not done yet. So where did you move to Newton all the time, or did you travel?
It was Newton all the time except for one time, and I did an online class, and that was when I was at the NAGRO conference. I will tell you, being the online class, would not recommend it. You learn so much more being in the class and building the camaraderie with the other classmates. You learn you're not alone in the job you do. We all face the same difficulties and hardships. Doesn't matter county, city. It just doesn't matter what entity you are with or representing. It is.
Speaking of that, then, how many people in the class, and what was there, you from?
So in my class, we had approximately 32 people. The graduating class, I'm going to say, was probably closer to 130.
Mm-hmm.
It is offered in, our class was online, Newton, Kansas City, and then there was also
The law enforcement training.
enforcement.
Yeah.
So, but they're from every entity.
Come to your class, so Road and Bridge, EMTs.
In my class, there was more city,
Okay.
human resources, finance directors. I was the only county appraiser. There's city managers. Actually, Ron Marsh was in our class.
Okay.
And so it was really nice to, just bounce stuff off against him on a local level too.
That's my first question. I'll save the other two for later. No, I might want to ask Tim a question.
But the professional development is important, and appreciate your dedication too, because that has to be something you're want to pursue to help things along. And I've mentioned this in other instances, but it certainly applies here, that when we're at some of our statewide meetings and see the networking, but also know that often you receive calls or people talk to you from other counties that are in your position to get some information or direction and advice. It speaks well of the county, but speaks very well of you, and congratulations. And
Thank you.
glad you're with us working here in Dickinson County. So
I enjoy what I do, and I certainly love being here. And I, again, appreciate the opportunity of being here and representing you. So.
okay. And I know you worked at another appraiser's office before you came here, and had a big sweep of the state. So, I think sometimes people wonder, how do you come up with valuations and so on, and there's formulas and
Absolutely.
a lot to it. So appreciate your dedication.
Thank you.
Okay. Craig, did you have more questions?
No.
You're done with the tough ones for now?
What songs are you going to sing next year when we work?
No.
If I would sing, that would scare everybody off.
There was just a little side joke in our staff meeting earlier that, they do it at 4-H and other groups. Just come up with something, and if there's a Christmas song or carol.
What was your favorite Christmas carol?
And so anyway, that's we've had several references to that today. But also mindful that it is Christmas time, and it's a good time to celebrate and know what Christmas is about. So, okay. This is opportunity if there's anyone online or anyone here that would want to make public comment, you could do so at this time, and you just need to introduce yourself, give your address, and we're kind of have a 3-minute suggested guideline on that if you do have comments.
Nobody online.
Okay, and I know sometimes people like to be here just to see if there are any items of discussion that they want to be aware of. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move on under notices and communications.
Did you want to hear from Doug and myself first?
Well, we could. I was
You
trying
don't have to.
to speed the meeting up.
Okay. I'm not
Janelle has a good report for us, so we'll hear from her.
Mine is very simple and short. As you just said, we're coming up on Christmas, and remember that time of year. So the county offices will be closed on December 22nd and the 25th for the Christmas holiday. Also wanted to pass on that this is also our end of year. So the treasurer's office will be closing to the public at noon on December 29th, so they can finalize the year-end process. So that's all I would have. See, short.
Okay, that was to the point. Doug?
I don't have anything to report right now. I think we're going to have an executive session, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Yes, 30 minutes.
30
Yes.
minutes, and I'll have some matters for that. Thank you.
Okay. Then we will go to notices and communications, and really didn't have too much here other than some Christmas cards and greetings. Is this, Janelle, we received this letter from the Dickinson County Fire District number 1.
Yes, that's information for you. I can tell you that after speaking with Chancey, that obviously there's not going to be any loss of service or coverage, because when the rescue truck from District 1 rolls, the Abilene Fire, or the Abilene Fire Station truck rolls as well, and in Harrington. So I understand the need why they have made that determination that they are no longer going to have their rescue truck respond. It's cost saving measures. So
Okay. And like you said, this is from the Dickinson County Fire District number 1, and they just wanted to formalize the fact that they were not going to be making some of these rescue services, but the reason for that, as you mentioned, is there was some duplication of services, so we still have full coverage, but they just wanted to state their intent so there's no mix-up where someone thought they were going to cover something that they aren't.
correct.
And it is involved, it was from the district, but also Chief Freilich. So and Kent Mills is their board president. So everyone's on the loop on that. And was there any other items that anyone received for discussion? Since there are none, we'll go to the consideration of resolutions. The first resolution we have is in regards to the floodplain district. And Tim, did you have your report on that?
Tim Hamilton, Planning and Zoning. The Yes, this is a process, as I had mentioned earlier, that started back in 2019 to update the current maps that we have under the National Flood Insurance Program. The FEMA Region 7 and their engineers have approved as to form and content on October 18th of this year. The resolution that's before you right now. The only real changes, as mentioned before, to what's being implemented versus what's currently being implemented, which will be implemented after this gets approved, would be in regard to agricultural structures requiring a variance, a formal variance through the Board of Zoning Appeals in order to build at grade and including wet flood proofing. So with that, the Planning Commission did on November 16th recommend unanimously approval of the resolution adopting both the flood insurance study and the flood insurance rate map data as well. So with that, if you have any questions for me.
I do not.
No, your explanation in the work session covered all the things I need to ask.
Good deal. Thank
We
you.
need to formally go ahead and adopt this. And so in regards to this, I would move that we adopt resolution number 121423. This is for provisions for Dickinson County zoning regulations regarding flood insurance.
Do the
That's on speed zones, and this is on the flood.
Wow. That's one there.
Let's write that on the calendar.
Trick me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I already put that out of the way.
So,
I'll second it.
yeah, and we have more than one resolution today, so we have the motion and the second for approval of resolution 121423. And this has to do with the zoning regulations and the adoption of the revised flood insurance study and corresponding flood insurance rate map. And this says the effective date, March 13, 2024.
Correct.
Any questions or comment on the motion? Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Don't do that.
Now, if you would hand me. The next one is in regards to a speed limit. Yes, it needs your signature. Yeah. The next one is in regards to a speed limit request for Grant Township. And Janelle, if you'd go ahead and kind of give the background on this and the purpose, why it's this specific area only.
So Commissioners Martin Tannehill and I met with the Grant Township Board and their blade operator last week. And they brought their concerns with regard to a portion of 2100 Avenue and South Brady Street, which is the route that the trucks use to get to Burton-Letta. They've got a lot of trucks that are traveling that portion of the road. Daily average, I wanted to say 450. That's probably the monthly average, pardon me. So that's a pretty high number of trucks traveling that. And it is obviously a township gravel road. And they have depleted their truck or their rock budget on that. So they had some concerns, and they also were very concerned about the high rate of speed. So they requested that a certain portion, 2,660 feet from 15 to Brady Street, and then 3,020 feet on South Brady from 21st Avenue to the Abilene city limits, that you would approve reducing that speed limit to 25 miles per hour. They also would request that the county place signs there, and then obviously they would reimburse the county for those signs. So Martin is working with them on that. They had requested 8. I think that we probably could place 4 and be okay with that. So the request is that you would approve that reduction.
Okay, and part of that, I guess, when the railroad crossing is closed, they also get a few more additional traffic, people just trying to figure out how to get around the blockage on Buckeye. And
Exactly.
a lot of times you'll see people go west and sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't.
Sometimes it
They go east and same thing. So.
Right.
And, just on a side note, Martin mentioned in our work study session that notification on the cost of gravel is increasing $1.20 a ton. And that's going to have an impact on the budget.
Without a doubt.
And so the county as well as townships, are trying to be good stewards of the money, stretch those dollars.
And the unfortunate thing, the budgets have been set for next year, so it's not, they're going to have to maybe reallocate some funds somewhere to cover some of those things.
Okay.
I move we adopt resolution 12-14-23A.
I'll second it. We have the motion for adoption and the second, resolution 121423A. This is a speed limit request from Grant Township. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. We had added one item to the agenda. Would you want to comment on that?
Actually, the sheriff is here, so this is an annual contract, so I can brief you on that. We provide police protection for the city of Enterprise,
Okay.
and they approved it at their board meeting. I believe it was Monday night, and they're requesting that you would approve it for them, and then the contract would take effect, I believe, January 1.
Okay. And that's evaluated every year. So
Do you have any comments on the police?
protection for Enterprise.
I was dealing with that.
I will let him go.
We renew the contract annually, and I've got a spreadsheet that I complete. It kind of gives me a total of what it costs per hour to operate. Looks like it's going to go up $207.70 a month, or $2,492.42 per year for the Solomon contract. So it's going to be, for Enterprise contract, excuse me. It's going to be $72,043.70 would be what the total would be for the year. The only other modification we did to the contract is under the extraordinary medical expense services. We modified that so that prescription medications are included in extraordinary medical services. So that way they pay for their prescription. Any inmate that they have housed here, if they have prescription medications, we can bill that back to the city. Just because prescription prices are going up. So we thought it prudent to add that.
Okay. I'll go ahead and make the motion that we enter this revised new contract with Enterprise on police protection.
Second.
We have the motion and the second. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good.
Copy of stuff.
You can go to the back row now. Okay, we do not have unfinished business. Actually, Sheriff, I don't know if, well, you can answer any questions, but the next item we have is replacement of the body cameras and vehicle cameras for the Sheriff's Department. And we
You
had
have the undersheriff.
We had a report on that and the need for that, and that is with.
This would be through Axon Enterprises, and it is to replace their current system through WatchGuard. And that's been in place for a number of years, several years. So, and this would be to update the contracts or update the vendor and go with them for the body cameras and their vehicle cameras in the Sheriff's Department. So, and what they're looking at is a 5-year contract. And with that, then they'll receive upgrades of body cameras twice and of the vehicle cameras one time as well during this process. But it also, with the annual maintenance, it's going to include software upgrades, as well. It interfaces with the county attorney's office, the software that they use there. So that should streamline that process when they're requesting information. There is going to be a fee to bring that interface together, but that's manageable. And the annual cost is going to be $63,326.80. So what the sheriff and undersheriff have proposed, since this was not an item, this is above the budgeted item that we've got. The first year they would pay for it out of asset forfeiture, and then we can plan for the next 4 years budgeting for it. So this, I think, is going to give them a much better product than what they currently have. So.
And in the report we had earlier, it's not only the safety of the law enforcement, but gives them the ability to monitor things from here on what's going on at some site.
Right.
But also the step beyond that is that also the court system and attorneys and interested parties like to know that there's additional documentation of camera footage. So it's important for a lot of people who have an interest in this. Is there a motion or any question on the contract?
Yeah, I can make the motion, but I didn't have the amount. $63,000,
$63,326.80. $26.80, yes.
And that includes the body cameras as well as the cameras that will be in the vehicle.
In the vehicles, correct.
Okay. Craig made the motion. I will give the second. Any further discussion?
I know Janelle's asset forfeiture and the rest of it will come out of the budget next year for the sheriff's department in their
Or we'll put it in capital.
capital.
Capital,
Okay.
yes.
Capital out.
Mhm.
Okay. That's the only question I had.
Okay. Go ahead and call the motion then. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. The next item we have is to approve a cereal malt beverage license for Ferris Station on and off premises. And this is kind of a bookkeeping matter this time of year. We need to approve those. So I would move that we approve the one for Ferris Station on and off premises.
Second it.
We have the motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. The next one is same thing, but it is for the cereal malt beverage license for Walt's Four Seasons RV on and off premise. I would move that we approve that.
Second it.
We have the motion and the second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next one we have is to approve the one for the cereal malt beverage license for Enterprise Mini Mart. I would move that we approve that license.
Second it.
We have the motion and the second for approval of the cereal malt beverage license for Enterprise Mini Mart. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next item we have is in regards to the pay plan increase for 2024. Janelle?
Commissioners, as you recall, we went through the budget process and in anticipation of retainage of employees, you discussed 5%, and that's what we had budgeted for. And that would include pay increase and step increase for the employees. We're asking that you would formalize the increase so as the managers are going through and doing their evaluations, they can give us an idea, or they can give the employee an idea of what their wage would be for 2024. So the total amount is $542,000, roughly $542,000, and that is with the movement within the pay plan. So, but we've had some change in staff, so that's going to change a little bit. That 542, yes, exactly. So that's a base of $384,000 and then a movement of $158,500. So we're asking that you would approve that as well.
I mean, we approved the 5% pay increase.
We have the motion for approval of the pay increase 5% for 2024. And I'll give the second. Any other discussion or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next item we have is for the purchase of a compact salt spreader for the highway department.
Commissioners, Martin had brought this to us this week in preparation for the snow that maybe we'll have. I probably jinxed us now. And we're
Next year.
Yes, next year. The concern that he brings is the dump trucks and the salt spreader that they're currently using on the back of that when they're brining the parking lots. So the maneuverability is somewhat limited. We do the parking lot here at the health department, the station 2. So this would be mounted on the 1-ton truck that we have in our fleet. It'd just make it a little bit simpler. And in fact, Steph or Chancey could run down and salt the parking lots here. So he's got 2 quotes from Northern Tool. One is an electric stainless steel hopper spreader with shipping and handling. That's $7,147 even. That's a 2.0 cubic yard. It's a high grade stainless steel, 12-month manufactured warranty. The other quote is also from Northern Tool, and that is for $8,262.99. That's a little bit bigger, but it also has a pony motor on it. And the highway staff thought it would be better to just go and have it mounted on the truck and then utilize the engine, the truck engine to run the salt spreader. Hydraulics run that. So they're recommending that you approve the electric, is that what I said? Yeah, electric stainless steel hopper for the $7,147 total.
And I might mention when the design took place, and I'm not sure if maybe it was you and Brad or Goldberg or a group effort, but they designed the parking lot so it was easier just for clearing snow and so on. Sometimes you have the discussions, do you have green space or extra curbs or a few extra trees or whatever in the middle? And
Right.
That was one of the things that aesthetically it would still be okay, but makes it a little bit easier.
It's a little bit easier, yeah.
And I think sometimes, people will raise the question, why don't you, always look, budget time especially, look for ways to save or look for ways to have efficiencies in place. And rather small item, but then again, the small things add up. Craig, would you want
I'll make the motion.
to make the motion?
Yeah.
So he has the motion for the purchase of the compact salt spreader for the highway department. That was $7,147. I'll second it. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next item we have is for an executive session for non-elected personnel. This will be for 30 minutes. The commissioners, Janelle, our attorney,
And Marcus.
and Marcus, and is there, okay, I guess the sheriff left. So they will participate in that. And like I said, it will be for 30 minutes, starting at 11:35.
I second the motion.
So we have the motion and the second to go into executive session, non-elected personnel, 30 minutes, 11:35. And I've seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. So, Jeannie, you can knock on the door when we're about 2 minutes to go.
2 minutes.
Yeah, but we'll be in here till 12:05.
Okay.
And Janelle, you have us muted. I'd move that we return to regular session from executive session.
Second.
We have the motion and the second to return to regular session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. We're back in regular session. We had discussions for non-elected personnel and do not have any further motions or announcements to make at this time. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All second it? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're adjourned.